Hey, everybody. So glad to see you all here today. This is live with Lisa Campion, and I have my amazing, beautiful bestie, Jane Bear, here today. And we're going to be talking about the truth about manifesting from kind of this, 5D quantum perspective, what we've learned about it. Um, Crystal, so nice to see you here. And we just want to share some of the wisdom that we've gleaned over the year that we've been running this quantum mystic um, energy, this quantum mystic mystery school. So we've kind of been living in the quantum zone for a little bit, and we wanted to share some of our what we figured out with you because it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It
Yeah,
is cool. I think you and I are both a little bit obsessed in that really awesome way where we just want to like learn more and understand more and feel more.
right.
It's a good place to be. I think that's why, we want to share it.
Yeah, and manifesting is such an incredible topic. And this whole thing about the manifesting and the law of attraction like burst onto the scene back in the day when the book and the movie The Secret came out. And that was really um cutting edge, spirituality for the time. And it is still. And there may be some like new things that we've learned about it that we want to share with you because I feel like that sort of laid the foundation. So it's not
Mhm.
wrong what they say, what they
Mhm.
said in the secret, but I feel like we've layered on some like new like realizations about how to really do it. Don't you think?
Totally agree. And, disclaimer, if you watch this 10 years from now, we've probably figured out other things. Like, this is what we
Yeah,
figured out so far because it's
right.
constantly changing. And I think that that's why it's so fun to learn about it because it's where it's being uncovered to us as as our consciousness raises. And I think that's something that I want to start just say first off is like in my opinion, manifestation really isn't about having. It's not about having more. The point isn't to like, how can I get a nicer car? Although that's fine too. But it's more about being. And we're not really teaching this so that you can live more, entrenched in the physical world, but rather teaching this so that you can raise your consciousness. And so I think that's the
Yeah,
differentiation for me.
totally.
That's really important.
I love that, and I feel like that when this whole idea of manifesting sort of burst onto the scene back then, I think we all kinda took it from that perspective. I know I did, from the sort of ego, like the
Yes.
conscious mind perspective of like, "Well, I wanna make more money, or I wanna buy a house, or I wanna," like looking at it from that material plane, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that it's not that you can't do that because you can,
Right.
right? And maybe, what you're saying here, and I love that you're saying that, is that um what's beyond that, right? There are there's more to the working that sort of universal law than there's more to be had. There's more treasure than just material things.
Yeah, and just like you said, I think the quantum approach really, invites you to shift from that egoic mind
Yep.
into a state of, pure awareness, and
Mhm.
that's where creation happens effortlessly. And so, you know, it's again, that's that state of pure awareness, um, takes practice and takes work in building out your really your foundation so that you can raise your consciousness.
Yeah, and for me, it's like the more work that I do, and you and I both spend a lot of time every day doing that, those
Yeah,
practices of, just clearing our energy field and
right.
meditating and aligning ourselves sort of, towards our higher self, towards our quantum self. And
Mhm.
what I notice is when I do that, there's a flow to the manifestation in my life that is far above what my ego could come up with.
Totally.
You know what I mean? My ego's kind of like, well, I'm just sort of lazy and I like want more money for less work and I want a nice cushy life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Yes.
And those things sometimes come along, you know, the they're like cars attached to the train of that. But this flow state that I go into when I'm really aligned with my higher self just brings things to me that are beyond even what my ego could think of.
Totally. And I think that that touches on, going beyond the conditioned mind, because the conditioned mind is full of limitations. It's
Yeah.
full of, well, there's only A or B, and so I'm going to pick
Mhm.
A. But really, when we're working with the quantum field and we're working with maybe not traditional manifestation, but like how to manifest from like the quantum perspective, is to access that intelligence of the universe from the infinite field of possibility. Um, yeah, I think that that's like in a nutshell the differentiation. But we're gonna give you we're gonna talk about the practical, of course, but um, yeah,
Yeah, the conditioned mind, Darcy says that's a cool concept. It is a cool concept. And I think the conditioned mind is, we know that as the limitations of our conscious mind, you know, and all of the limiting beliefs, like you said, A or B, you know, it can only see so much when we're working with this higher aspect of manifestation. We're working with a super conscious mind, right? But I think a lot of the times the real problem comes from most people who don't like what's going on in their life. They're manifesting their life from their unconscious minds. So whenever we have a conflict in our life, the part of us that has the most energetic charge, the most emotional charge, the most charge to our thinking, can be really like, you know, the one that's got the hand on the manifestation button. And I notice that in my life too all the time. If I've got a conflict about something, and I haven't resolved what's going on in my subconscious, I'm not going to get it. It's like driving with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake.
yeah. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. And so even if we are doing the traditional like visualizations and affirmations that have been taught for since The Secret, and why it's not working, because those rely on effort, right? Um, and we're sort of shifting away from that so that you are actually aligning your inner state with the vibrational frequency of what you desire. And if there's something in the way that's either karmic or, like you said, from the subconscious, which often it is, um, then that thing is blocking us. And it's just we have to sit with whatever that thing is. Generally, it's like a limiting belief, or it's a belief that, I mean, there's so many things so many examples of like, I'm not good enough to have this amount of money, or
Right.
I'm a bad person if I have this amount of money. So no matter how much you're visualizing yourself with lots of money, that one thing is going to keep you from it, because you're not actually in the that coherence with that much money.
I think it's a lot about like learning how to settle our nervous systems too, especially with money,
Yes.
because like we'll have like an internal money set point where we feel worthy and deserving of that money.
Yeah.
And that's all based on all kinds of, constructs and ideas and beliefs. And, that's probably all loaded into our conscious mind by the time we're like 10 years old.
Yep.
And then if we get more than that, our nervous systems, and I'm speaking for myself, my nervous system fires fight or flight. And I'm like, oh my God, that's too much money. And it doesn't feel safe, or it feels like people are going to judge me, or, like if my internal money set point is like $20,000 and I get $50,000, suddenly I'm going to need a new roof on my house. And it's boop back down to the whatever that is. And my nervous system's like, okay, even though my conscious mind is doing all the visualizing and praying and affirmations. If you're nervous, if you're blowing out your nervous system, it's not going to work.
Absolutely. And I always talk about the nervous system being like a container. So if we can build out our container, we're actually allowing our nervous system to settle and to
Mm,
calm and to be in a state of, ease when we actually, let's say, have 100,000, 500,000, $1 million in our bank account. But we might not be there yet. We might not, it might totally freak us out. But this is true for relationships. It's true for
everything.
everything. And so
Yeah.
our nervous system might look at somebody with um like a sports car, like a BMW, and be like, ugh, like judgment. And
Mhm.
so, how are we going to manifest from that, our nervous system feeling that way? And that's a judgment, of course, in our mind, but our body follows. And
Yeah.
so we really can't, because we're not in coherence and we're not in a vibrational match.
So Erica's asking such a great question. How do you identify what's getting in the way through karma or subconscious, and how do we truly fix it?
Great question. Kind of a big one. Do you want to go first? Should I go first?
Yeah, you go.
I think that there's a lot of steps, and it depends. It really takes awareness, and like radical awareness of ourselves and what is happening when we are experiencing um, lack. We need to be able to have awareness of, oh, I'm experiencing lack,
Mm,
or whatever it is, oh, I'm judging that person with the car, you know. And so, I say radical self awareness, because it takes a lot of like insight and the ability to pause and to really kind of turn the lens on ourselves, so that we can do that work. So I think that's a big step. Um, working your way through that's really for like working our way through the subconscious mind.
mm,
Karma, we can do that on our own. Sometimes we need help by
right.
somebody who, like you or I, who works with the records and patterns, and
Mm.
and can see that stuff. But what do you think?
I think it's, to me, like working through the four bodies. So the physical body, and Sarah asked, like, how do we calm or align our nervous system? And that is part of the physical body. Like if your
Yeah.
nervous system's firing, that, you kind of have to start with that. And for me, it's always tapping. I'm a big fan of tapping, EFT. I tap almost every day. And I find that if I tap, tapping on the bladder meridian, I can settle my nervous system down. But there's a lot of different ways to settle your nervous system. You can do the 4-2-8 breathing pattern, where you inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 8, or box breathing, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4. Um, you know, that those breathing patterns are really proven to settle the nervous system. So when you think about, like, you look at your a bill comes in the mail, and you see your nervous system spike. You can tap, or you can breathe. It's like a physical thing we have to do to kind of bring our body into it. Then working through the emotional, so that's the physical body. The emotional body is, well, what are our feelings about it? How do we feel about whatever it is we're trying to manifest? Is there an inner conflict going on? And resolving the feelings, like, if going back to your relationship example, there may be part of you, like, that really wants a relationship, but more unconscious or inner child part of you that doesn't, because you might have some old scars there. You might have some emotional work that needs to be done, so that you feel safe with that.
Yeah.
And then we go through the mental body, the mind. Well, what beliefs do you have that are maybe holding you back? The beliefs are, about our worthiness, our deserving, or what we say. You could write down the top 10 beliefs you have about people that drive a BMW, or people that have money, or, and that many of them are not, like, when we bring them into our conscious mind, we can decide, do we still really want to believe that? Well, that's what my dad thought. That's what my mom thought. Do I really believe that? And we just can examine that in the light of consciousness, right? To
Hmm.
see whether we need to update our beliefs. Do those beliefs still reflect who we
Mhm.
are now. And then the spiritual body, which is that's where the lineage and the, the ancestral stuff and the past life stuff are done. And that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to kind of constantly work through. So I think there's no magic bullet. I think
Yep.
there's no wish there was,
Mhm.
just drink this potion and you're going to manifest everything that you want. I feel like it's a kind of constant work of each one of those parts of ourselves feeling where the block is in that what you said about radical self-awareness. When you have radical self-awareness, you know which level that block is. Oh, that block is this old trauma that I have or this old belief system. It's in the mental body, it's in the physical body. I feel it is tension, like the stomach, my stomach dropping and my nervous system's gone out. um that radical awareness helps us pinpoint which of the levels of our being that it's impacting us, and then we develop a lot of tools to help us work through that. And those tools, that's what we teach in the Quantum Mystic Mystery School. So the answer is sign up for Quantum Mystic Mystery School. And we'll teach you how to access all of those things. We're starting a new round of it in June, where we really are working very, we're going to give you a thorough workover on all these levels of your being and help you bring those things into the light of day, because when they hit our conscious mind, we can resolve them. That was kind of a long
Totally.
answer, but
That was a great answer, and, we work on the 5 bodies in the mystery school, so that's a really important aspect to all of this, and I just wanna
yeah.
say, Eric going back to Erica's, question and comment, I don't know that she truly meant to say, "How do we truly fix it?" But I think it's perfect that you did say that, because there actually is no fixing, we don't need to fix anything, and to that, manifestation is not about attracting something that's outside of you. It's about realizing that you are already everything you seek. And so in that way, there's no fixing. It's about alignment. It's about realigning to what you actually are wanting to um, be in the world. And so, because we're all so perfect, we're not fixing our subconscious mind. We're more like unearthing and opening. We're like opening a little door to it and being like, "Hi, what's inside?" All the gifts. um yeah, and I do have um 5 practical steps that I just wanted to talk about. I don't know if this is a good time.
Mm, yeah, it's
Um,
a good time.
Great. So, excuse me. One of the things that I think is really important, especially when we're talking about awareness, is oftentimes we need to just slow down and enter a field of silence. If you've ever been in a class with me, I talk about meditation all the time. It's, I always go back to meditation. So, beginning with meditation or breath work to quiet that thinking mind and to access that stillness actually allows that subconscious stuff to come up. So, that's one.
Mm,
And then when you expand your awareness, talked about that. So, instead of focusing on lack, you shift into a state of gratitude, such a big one, and
mhm,
wholeness, as if you already are that wholeness, that whole you already have. Number 3, feel it as it's already happened. Feel as if it's already done. So embody the emotions of having already received what you desire. And this energetic alignment is key. So I touched on that before, but it's about energetic alignment. 4, detach from the outcome. Because if we like focus on it, over focus on it, we actually shut it off. It's like putting a kink in the hose. So you release attachment and trust the intelligence of the universe to bring it to you in the highest way. The universe is already giving us everything we're asking for. We're manifesting constantly. What Lisa and I are talking about right now is conscious manifestation.
right.
Okay. And then the number 5, this is the big one that actually I think The Secret doesn't talk about. The movie The Secret is take inspired action. Move in alignment with your vision. and allow synchronicities to unfold naturally. So we're not like hammering it out, like grind. I mean, there's something to the grind. I think the universe loves hard work. But we're not like forcing things to happen because, oh my God, they have to happen. That's a different energy.
That's so good. You know what you said, Jane. I love that you put it in the steps. I love the steps, and I think it's sort of almost like loops back to what we said at the very beginning. Is like when I know for me when I'm in that alignment and I'm sort of aligned with my higher self, my quantum self, then I have a lot of energy to do the things that are um it's sort of it doesn't seem like work, although it is work, but I'm like, "Ooh, that's yummy. That's delicious. I really want to do that. I really am like inspired by this." And I love the creative process, so I love, that's always really fun for me. And when I'm in that alignment there, it's almost like my small self, my ego self kind of gets out of the way. It's like an eclipse. Like that, it's like the moon eclipsing, that I have to move that away a little bit towards the side so it's not constantly sabotaging me and telling me I can't do it and telling me I'm not good enough and having an inner child temper tantrum about what do I have to do that thing, don't make me do that hard scary thing. Like, so I do inner child work every day because when I attend to that part of myself with a lot of love and encouragement, it sort of puts me back in that alignment, and then it's showing up in the moment. So for me, like, I would sort of add step 6 in here, which is being radically mindful, showing up in the moment and living fully in the moment. When I live fully in the moment, there's an unfoldment that happens that's like, "Oh, this is happening." Like I just got another opportunity to teach a class for the Shift Network. Like, I didn't ask that. I didn't ask them. It just arrived in my inbox. And that then I'm like, I'm in the moment with that. Like, am I a yes or no to that? And what do I want to teach? And how does that feel? And sort of allowing that to unfold is so much less effort than you were saying about putting the kink in the hose. And my ego might still be over there throwing a fit because that's what our egos do, about all the things, so the hard work for me is to calm and recognize the ego state when I'm in that, recognize the inner child state when I'm in that. Like, we can't throw that baby out with the bathwater. It's important. It's more like, okay, Bubby, I love you, little ego, little inner child. It's gonna be okay. Like, my other self, this knows what to do, and there's joy in the doing of it.
Yes.
Don't you feel like when you're in alignment, there's joy, just like there's joy in us teaching we taught our first year in the Quantum Mystic Mystery School. It was a lot of work. It was sometimes scary. It wasn't always easy, but it was so joyful. It was so rich. It was so powerful. That sort of soul work is, I think, what we're talking about, if that makes sense.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I think that talking about, the being in the present moment is super duper important. And so once you identify, something comes up and it's like tightness in your nervous system, you feel triggered, then you shift from that, identify it, shift from that into expanded awareness. This
Yeah.
is shifting from the personal self to the infinite self. This is shifting from the egoic mind into pure consciousness, which is the quantum field. And when you tune into the present moment, that's where the power resides. So really, we're talking about personal power here. We're talking about reclaiming your personal power, and not thinking everything is outside of ourselves. And then
Yeah.
just lastly, I'll say, and with that, then you surrender effort. It's easeful. Like you were saying, when we're having fun, when it's joy and purpose, you're just surrendering all effort, and creation happens not in that striving, but in that deep trust and that knowing.
Mm-hmm. Love that, Jane. Erica says, if you're unsure what inspired action to take, should we first begin by asking to be shown what the action is to take instead of running wall to wall? And I think the answer for me is there's sort of an intuition involved there. Like, I'm following this. When I'm in alignment, there's green lights. It's easy. Like, doors open. invitations come. There's that ease, joy, like you feel like doing it, and then the signs line up. We've had a lot of really powerful signs, Jane, you and I, in the past couple of weeks. We've had some extraordinary, like, like crazy
Yeah.
signs from the universe, like nuts.
They're not
And
always that obvious.
it's not, yeah, they were pretty obvious. Um, like we were sitting in meditation in the retreat we did for our Quantum Mystic Mystery School, and a hawk flew into the window, like a foot from where Jane was sitting. It was so close to where Jane was sitting, and then there were many others after that.
Yeah.
I went to the Cancun to my son's wedding, and a shark swam by me. Like I could have reached out and touched it. It was nuts, and I didn't even see it. My daughter did, and it just all these things. So I feel like that intuition, the flow, the signs, the green lights, the feeling of joy, that's sort of how like I am also book writing, and even the book right now, I have a new book. And even though book writing is hard, I like wake up, I can tell I'm writing in my sleep, and I wake up at 5 in the morning and I'm like, oh, whatever that was, I got to get it on paper. And it's challenging to do that, but there's some kind of juiciness or um, joyfulness and when I'm doing that, that keeps me. I keep writing books, so there's something about it I love, even though it's at times quite challenging. That's kind of how I know I'm in the flow, and I know what inspired action to take. And a lot of times it's because something shows up and I'm saying yes. When I'm striving, I'm trying to make things happen. When I'm in the flow, things happen and I'm saying yes or no to them. It's a
Yeah,
little different.
and to talk more about what Erica is asking, I agree. It's a felt sense in the body,
Mm,
and if you're still unaware of how to navigate that, oftentimes people just have inaction and don't do anything.
yeah.
So don't do that. Just take a step in any direction, and sometimes that step will be like you'll look around and be like, oh wait, that's not the step. That is that's not correct. So either come back or be like, okay, what are the next what did that step, what possibilities opened from that? And then take a next best step and like closest to inspired action that you can take. And I think
Yeah.
that this is a really great practice is learning how to trust your intuition. And one, this I love practical tools. I always give them. So I'm going to give you one now for how to get in touch with this on a felt sense is um, when you're driving, let's say, um, just decide, like, sit at the stop sign and be like, should I take a right, a left, or go straight? And just listen to what your body says. And there might be just like a hair of a difference of just to go right. It might not make any sense for you to go right, but just do it and see what unfolds because maybe after time you build out the ability to listen more deeply to those nudges and or like when you're walking down the street and you're just like don't just stop. Don't continue on this path like going straight for some reason turn around.
Yeah.
Listen to that because maybe who knows, there's an accident ahead or there's like some creep guy around the corner. We don't know. We have no idea why we get those nudges, but those are the ones to listen to. And that's actually inspired action is turning around and going backwards the way you came because you got a nudge. That's inspired action. So continue to build that out.
Yeah. And starting with those small, low risk things,
Yeah.
can help sort of um, build up the muscle of recognizing it for the bigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great practical tool, Jane. Thank you for that. So we're winding down our time here. We thank all of you so much, the ones who are tuning in and asking questions. So happy to see you here. And yeah, if you want to find out more about our mystery school, you can find us at quantummystic.com. There's the link there. We're starting again in June. So we'll be taking on a new class, and our class that just graduated will be going into year 2. And it's really been an incredible journey that we'd love to invite you to. if you want to visit Jane, you can. She does incredible. She's an incredible psychic and quantum healer. You can find her. There's her link. You want to say anything, Jane, about that?
Yeah, I do my own work, and then also finding us at the mystery school um, is a way to reach out to us if you have any more questions, of course. Um, but we're really excited to be bringing the year one into year two and starting the next year one group, and going really deeper into um, all of this quantum stuff, all the mystery school, all the ancient wisdom, um, so that really, that manifestation really becomes, um, it's like aligning to your highest self so that the quantum field becomes your playground. And again, this is about personal power. It's not about having more. And I'm just super excited to be starting another year with you,
Yeah,
Lisa. So
I
great.
know. It's so fun. It's so amazing. It feels like such a miracle to be able to teach this and to work together. And
Yeah.
I think it's really a consciousness program. So we're
Yeah.
all about raising up people's consciousness, and that's the time we're living in. The shift, the ascension is really the ascension of human consciousness, the shift into the quantum field. And we just feel like we're so happy to share what we're figuring out with you all, so you can join us on the journey. And if you want to stop by and visit me, you can always find me at lisacampion.com. I work mostly with psychics, healers, and empaths whose gifts are waking up as part of this shifting that's going on. So if you need a mentor, if you want to learn some quantum Reiki, um, psychic Reiki, quantum healing, if you want to receive a quantum healing, or you need help understanding your own psychic and spiritual awakening, that's what I like to do the most. So come by and visit me at lisacampion.com. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here, Jane.
Thank you.
See y'all guys later. Thanks. Bye.